Time for twins part.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I'm not going
to talk about this. Hey, what do you think about what's happening at our border?
It's a shit show.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully the same thing you're thinking about it. Like,
yeah.
it's a shit show, and I think we're already surpassed a point of something's going to happen. You know, we've let enough terrorists into this country over the past 4 years that
that's my biggest worry.
yeah, it's going to happen. You know, again, and then you have to wonder what. Like, it's not like the government doesn't know this is happening,
Right.
and they're just letting it go. So, yeah, it's
Like it's kind of like they want it to happen.
weird, almost. But you're like, for what reason though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously for votes. I mean, that's a big thing. But now Kamala's running on. Now she's going to build a wall. So
That's crazy. She took like 5 of Trump's policies.
yeah, she did.
Trump said he was going to send her a T-shirt. Oh yeah, but
I know. I was going to call Trump and be like, listen, dude, stop saying what you're going to do. 'Cause
Right.
She's just copying everything.
Man, this is crazy, man. I look back at old debates between Democrats and Republicans, like Nixon and JFK, and it was so different back in those days. It's like nowadays, it's just like we're falling apart.
It's a clown show.
Yeah.
We've lost all professionalism.
Yeah.
That's why I think our standards as a country have dropped over the past 15 years. And I think we're at a point now, like, it's even seeing them like the debates now. Like, all it is like a roast fest up there. They're just like, who's the funniest and who can make fun of each other. And it's like,
right.
that's who I'm going to vote for. And then it's like, dude, well, what fucking policies are being talked about?
That shit was crazy for Biden and Trump.
Oh my god!
Biden said he could out golf Trump.
Yeah, it was like, is this really the topic? I did like the one where when Trump was like, I don't know what he just said, and I don't think he does either. That was good.
That was crazy when he said
He
that.
set him up for that, though. It's like, well, you know.
Yeah.
When Trump said, they said, I don't know what he said, and he doesn't know either.
Yeah.
And then what's crazy about that, when he said that, Biden didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Didn't even catch it.
No, because he was in his dementia. I mean,
Yeah.
My dad's going through right now, like, he's battling dementia, not dementia, Alzheimer's. And he, you know, I can see, you know, he's progressively getting worse, but it's that look. Same look Biden has. It's they're like locked, like, I need to figure out what the fuck is going on right now. I don't know, like, they can't comprehend anything that's happening. And they get into those little phases. The worse it gets, and then eventually it gets to a point where they look like that all the time.
Right. Like Biden, it was, I don't know why they had like a 2-camera shot, one on Trump and one on Biden. And he was just sitting there looking at Trump with this gaze, and his eyes were like cocked. He was like cockeyed. He wasn't blinking or anything. I was like, how the fuck does he do that with his eyes?
Deer
like
in the
that?
headlights.
I actually felt sorry for him.
You know,
once.
it's
I was like,
it's and that's the thing. It's like it's probably one of the most worst cases of elderly abuse we've seen. And they did it to the president. You know, the leader of the country, and you know, I blame his wife. You want to talk about evil?
Yeah, his wife.
That's who's evil. Is like the fact that they let them do this to her husband, like throw this dude on stage,
his wife,
pump him full of drugs,
especially his wife.
Yeah, it's just and you do like. As much as I'm like, God, this dude is a moron, I also feel sorry for him, man. 'Cause it's like, bro, you got thrust into this and you got Alzheimer's, dude. Like, that's horrible.
Right up until the point where he stepped down, man, people's like, oh, he's doing a great job. I'm like,
yeah, the liberals, the progressives, they said, man, he just had a bad night. I was like, man, that's not a bad night.
Yeah.
And
this shit's been going on for like
he's
a
had
couple
bad,
years.
Yeah, bad 4 years.
Yeah, and they say we're members of a cult when we're voting for Trump.
Oh, I know. It's well, that's that TDS is real. You know, I have relatives like that. I was just with some, and and I told them it was a family get together, and I was like, hey, no politics. I was like, let's just enjoy ourselves as a family. Like, don't even bring it up.
Right.
But you know, it's funny on that side. They can't help themselves, man. They got to throw something in there, and it's like as soon as you say,
it'd be the stupidest thing.
It is. It's the dumbest thing, or like, but as soon as you say Trump, they're like their face, and like you can see it. I'm like, bro. It's literally like true. Like, you guys have a syndrome. Like you've been manipulated to a point where you can't even think for yourself, and that's why I mean. Like, he was telling me you guys had on some liberal dude and like talked for 3 hours.
Oh, omni-liberal?
Yeah, and I'm like,
one of the most intellectually dishonest person I ever spoke to.
But that's what I mean. It's like talking to somebody with no logic or reason, and it's like I'm like, dude, I'll try. Yeah. But then as soon as you start spitting illogical crap, and I'm like, dude, this conversation's over, dude. Because
that guy said what happened to Trump, he brought it on himself. when he
that?
got assassinated, attempted
suicide?
assassination.
The
They said
assassination
what he
attempt?
said. He deserved that. He actually said
Well,
that.
then why? Yeah, that dude should be locked up. It's like, well, then, yeah, it's. but-
He mocked that firefighter that lost his life there, got shot by a stray bullet from a truck.
He actually went on camera and posted on YouTube.
Yeah, he said the firefighter.
Did he
deserved
say
it.
that shit in here?
No, he didn't say it here. He said on his.
Oh, I was about to say,
on the
yeah.
show.
one of you guys should have reached across and just slammed
Nah,
his
he
head
didn't.
into the table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I mean, but that's disgusting, though, man. That
Yeah,
dude
it
is
is.
like,
that is the left, though.
disgusting part of
That's
our society.
disgusting people.
Yeah,
They really
they'll,
are.
they'll say some nasty things for sure.
Yeah, I can honestly say if something happened to Joe Biden, I wouldn't be happy over it.
No, I'm
I
not
would
going to
be
cheer over somebody losing their life.
Yeah,
you know,
assassinated. Yeah,
Yeah.
Why would you even? I just
If
can't.
that happened on the left or the right, that would start like a civil war in this country at this point because we're so divided.
Well-
Whether it's Trump getting assassinated or if it was Biden getting assassinated.
yeah, and that's what
Nobody
I mean.
wants to see that.
You know, you can see what happened there. I'm sure you watch it over and over. It's
He's
an
a lucky
act of
man.
God that he turned his head at that moment because I'm like, if he had been killed, our country would be in disarray right now.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that's,
This country be in trouble right
yeah.
Seriously.
Especially where I live, like in the South.
Yeah.
Bro, it's
yeah,
people are already on edge, like waiting for something
Right.
to happen.
Dude,
So,
seriously, if Trump was assassinated, I think I'd paint myself white. Get a blonde wig. My name would be freaking John Keith Holmes. I swear to God, dude.
yeah, yeah. Black.
I get my truck and my flag.
I'll be flying a rubber flag. I'll be an undercover.
Hey, but you took it too far with that shit. What you talking about?
The General Lee.
Well, you had the General Lee. That's cool.
yeah. General Lee. Right?
Yeah, but people don't know how close we came to like a civil war when that happened.
I know. Yeah.
Like the left is so oblivious to that.
They are. Well, and they think like January 6th was something like, you know, and you're like,
They call
you
it an
think-
insurrection.
Yeah.
If that was an insurrection, hundreds of people would have died.
Stand by. Yeah. You
Yeah.
think that was an insurrection. If something happened to Trump, and
Yeah.
then it would have been bad.
Yeah.
And those was a bunch of gun nuts on January 6th.
Yeah.
There was no guns there.
No.
Yeah.
They just wanted to protest what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
It got out of hand, but it wasn't an insurrection.
it got out of hand on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, they had the feds in there fucking amping it up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it
Pushing
was
their buttons.
Yeah, both sides were involved for
Yeah.
sure. But they're trying to make something out of it. They tried to make something out of that, and it's nothing.
Yeah, they still talk about January 6th, but the media doesn't talk about what happened, the assassination
No.
attempt.
Yeah. And the
It's
crazy
old
thing
news.
about when Tucker talked about it, he painted a different side. One of these guys, the shaman, they actually put him in jail for how many years? Like
He was going to be in there for 5 years.
5 years. And they actually escorted him into the
yeah.
to the
There's a video of it.
Yeah, he
you
actually
can watch it.
prayed. And they threw him in jail for that.
Yeah.
That's like
They're still arresting people for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just know somebody like from a third connection that they just raided their house and took them to jail.
Same thing
because
for people
because they
work
were
with us,
there.
yeah.
Because they were there.
Yeah, not that they did anything. They were
were
just
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
Yeah, it's still going on to this day. They'll abuse that power all day long.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why we started the Pip Hitter Foundation.
Well, tell us about that.
So pretty much after we went through what we went through, which is what's going on is normal now.
Right.
We pretty much we came out of there. So a lot of the guys that I met in prison were young kids, like 19, 20, 21, just enlisted, and then they made a simple mistake of like maybe they went and smoked some weed, popped on a piss test, or showed up late to formation, or whatever, drunk in public. But the problem is, in the military, they want to keep their prosecution rates up, and so when these kids make these small mistakes, the prosecutors will make them into even larger. So like. Give you an example. There was a kid that was drunk in public at San Diego airport, got arrested for it. NCIS comes, and they take him away. They go and they go and like get all the stuff on the ship, start going through all of his computers, and see that he Googled Russia at one point. And then they were like, well, we think you're selling classified information to Russia,
Wow.
so we're charging you with espionage, which is life also. This is just from being drunk in public.
Yeah.
They try to make these cases out of nothing. And he's just one example. There's a lot more. So I was telling my wife all about this while I was locked up. I'm like, this is nuts. Like I'm seeing behind a curtain I didn't know existed. So we decided we got to do something about it, especially because we made it through it, became victorious, which was a lot, it took a lot of work. So we decided to start the Pip Hitter Foundation. And at first we were like, hey, we're just going to, support active duty in the military. But then we saw what was going on with the law enforcement, especially after the George Floyd stuff, how, they were just being targeted again. So we added law enforcement and first responders. So what we do is if they're being unjustly accused for doing their job, then we step in, we provide the aid for their legal defense. So we'll raise money for the legal defense. We also give them emergency relief funds during that time because it is a stressful time and people have no idea just how it can drive a family apart.
Expensive too.
It's expensive. And then we advocate for them as well. So we use the same route that my brother and wife did. We'll go, talk to the right people, go on certain platforms that will actually tell the truth. And we will just help those individuals that way. So we've been doing it now since 2020, I think. And so, it's been, unfortunately, it's been busy. We've helped a lot of law enforcement, but now we're actually helping a lot of military again as well. So, and then the big thing we want is to get change in the UCMJ, get some stuff reformed because it's a broken system. It's archaic. So, it's been going good. We got a couple cases right now. We got one guy, there was a student that died in SEAL training 2 years ago during Hell Week. He passed Hell Week and then ended up collapsing afterwards and died. So they did an investigation, and turns out, this kid was taking steroids before, and he wasn't the only one. I guess there was other kids in the class that were. I think, he was taking steroids. He had a bunch of other crap in his car that they found. But the mom of this kid went high and right and just wanted to she wanted to shut down buds. She was like, oh, they're torturing people there. My son died. She had some connections in, politics, I think, on she knew some congressmen. And so what the Navy did, instead of telling this mother, listen, your son was taking steroids. This is probably, they did an autopsy, an enlarged heart, all this other stuff.
Oh, wow.
They hid all of that, and they're like, we're going to go ahead and hang out the CO, who was the CO of Buds, to dry, and then also go out the medical officer who was in charge of examining the Hell Week students as they went through Hell Week. So we are supporting the medical officer right now. He is in jeopardy of losing his medical license, which means, and this guy's been around forever. He was there when I was in the SEAL teams, and so he's in jeopardy of losing his medical license. So it means he has nothing if he gets out. So we're getting the truth out about what's going on, and hopefully, the more and more people that get on board and start pressuring the Navy to do the right thing, they will, and they will drop these charges. And also for the CO2, Brad Geary, they're going after him as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
So she just wants somebody to pay.
Yeah. She's a grieving mother, and she's trying to, it sucks. I can't imagine how that feels, but at the same time, it's like, hey, you can't just hang two good men out to dry just because your son died. It's not their fault. They had even if the kid wasn't taking steroids and just happened to collapse, it's like it's possible that can happen. Hell Week is they push you to your limits.
When I was in boot camp, Marine Corps boot camp, there's people that died, had heart attacks,
Yeah.
strokes. It's
Yeah.
very silent because it gets hot, and if you're not,
I seen a couple of people drop for heat strokes, and he kicked them out.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the battles that we get involved in, because it's like, this isn't right. And all it is just trying to put pressure on the Navy to get them to do the right thing, which you shouldn't have to do. But that goes back again to weak leadership.
Yeah. Prices of everything is high as shit.
It's high as hell.
Yeah, we all know it's because of inflation. It's much worse than our politicians want us to know.
The good white people at Genesis Wealth Company have put together a comprehensive wealth guide to help protect your assets tied to our failing dollar.
Go to goldrushpatriot.com and let our friends at Genesis Gold help you get prepared today. And the best part about this guide, it's 100% free. Tell them the Hodgetwins sent you.
Yeah.